Hello, Terry Duncan here with Cut, Color, and Create. Thank you for joining me today. I am really excited because I've got something new to share with you. Altenew has just come out with 3 new sets of fresh dyes. And so we're going to use those along with an old and loved set that I have to make a new card. Jen Raza taught during the Scrapbook and Card Today Crop and Create Delivered event last weekend. And I'm going to use something that she taught in that class to make this beautiful new card. So the first thing, without ado, I want to show you the new inks. And so this first group, you should recognize, if you're familiar with Altenew, you should recognize these ink names: Rose Quartz, Puffy Heart, Purple Wine, and Cosmic Berry. And I should have looked up what set that's in because I don't remember it. But you can buy the whole set at a discount, or you can just get one and one alone if you just need or want one. So that's the first set. I'm not sure we're going to use all of these inks on this card today, but we're going to use several. The second one is in the teal green category. And again, these names should be familiar as well. All 3 sets should be. This one is Mountain Mist, Volcano Lake, Lagoon, and Emerald. And then the next one is in grays, which we've really needed that in the fresh dye ink collection. So this is limestone, silverstone, industrial diamond, and pure graphite. So really excited about those colors, and they're beautiful together. So we're going to use a combination of some of those inks on our card today. I do have a A2 size, which is 4¼ by 5½ piece of cardstock. This is 80-pound solar white. And then I've got an A2 card base, and that's with 110-pound Nina Classic Crest Solar White. That's 110-pound. Then, like I said, I'm going to use a product that I really love. It is from Altenew also. It's called the Bold Bouquet stamp. And I've got the stamp, die, and stencil. We're going to use all 3. And you can see it's well loved. You'll get a better idea of what that looks like when we do some stamping. Now, I do have my stamp wheel. We're going to use that a lot today. I've got some blending brushes. I've got some minis, and I've got my large pink one. So let's get started. I'm just going to pull off the top for now of my stamp wheel. And I'll set my card front on here. I am going to use some temporary adhesive. I've got a little of that here in this gun. And I'm just going to put that on the inside of my card so it doesn't fly open. You could also use things like satin tape or something like that. And so the first thing I want to do is create just kind of a background. And I'm kind of thinking that my card will be horizontal. And I'm just going to place the stamp, let's see, like this, so that looks like it's an iris is pointing up in this direction. Not caring that it goes over the edges over here on the side. And I'm just going to pick that up with my stamp wheel. Now, if you saw me turning my cover, it's because I have designated which is the top, so I can always find that quickly. And I did that with different colored embellishments. So I've got that picked up, and I am going to use limestone, the lightest of the colors in this set. I'm just going to make sure that my stamp is good and clean. If it's a new one, you want to do this to condition your stamp, or you could use Versamark ink, or a pigment ink works as well to condition the stamp. I'm just loading up that stamp with my ink. And again, this is limestone. I'm going to use my stamp positioner. And that's a pretty good impression, but I see some places missed here. So I'm going to give it a second stamping. Not put it in the right place. Well, that might be okay. I think I'll just leave it there. Let's see what happens. I think I'll keep that because I kind of like how that arches around there. Now, the next stamping we're going to do, trying to decide if I could just leave it on the lid, and I don't think I can. I'm going to clean off my stamp. Stamp cleaner isn't wet, so I just add a little water to it. Get that good and clean. And then figure out where we want our design to go. This will be our focal point. I think we'll go, well, let's try doing this. Well, like usual, I'm experimenting over the top of this. I could have masked that, but I kind of like the idea of having the gray in the background, so we'll see how it works. Now I've got that picked up on my lid, and I am going to use my favorite ink, Altenew's Obsidian. This is a pigment ink, but it's also waterproof. And it leaves a beautiful image, crisp black image. So this time I'm going to make sure I have it lined up correctly. Get in there. And I'm going to use my stamp positioner this time. This is not exactly the way Jen did it, but she had this lighter color in one of her cards, and I just loved it. So that's what we're kind of altering her technique. And I'm just pressing down in a couple of areas that I noticed were light, and then I'll use my pressure tool to give it a good even pressure over the top. That's better, but it's still not there. that air bubble right there, and that might be what it is. There, I think we got it. Yep. So from there, ordinarily I would clean that stamp off, but because we're live, I think I'll wait. Now, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to follow the guide for the stencils. So I'll get those out. And they have 2 flower colors. And I may decide to do that too, but for now, we're going to go with 1, and we're going to go with the very first layer, if I can find it. They have them marked. There's 1. So I'm going to turn this. Make sure I get it. There we go. Excuse my head. I'm just going to make sure I've got that in the right place. And according to our stencil, you can vary the color. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go with my rose quartz. I'm going to clean off my brush on a piece of paper towel real quick, just to make sure I don't use any other color that I've been using. And I'm just going to go over the whole thing with this color, or well, I'm going to go over all that are the pink. I'm going to tap off. And I'm just trying to decide. I originally planned to use the greens here for the greenery, but I'm trying to decide if I should just make that a flower. I don't think I will. I think I'm going to go with another colorway. And so I'm going to bring in my swatches, and maybe we'll go with this here, an orange. That would be pretty. So I'm going to get out my sunray and chamomile. Aren't those pretty? They're kind of down here it's yellow with a lot of orange in it, and then it moves to a darker. So I'm going to start with the sunray. And I'm just going to do these flowers here with that. And clean my brush off. Tap, tap, tap. At this point, I'm just going to turn on some music and speed up the video. Hope you enjoy it. Here's the big reveal. So there's what our card looks like. Now, yep, that opens that way. So the sentiments that come with the set are they've got you, happy, and then they have like you are loved, happy anniversary, thank you, you are enough, happy birthday, you are extraordinary, you make my heart smile, you are cherished, happy wedding, happy everything, or you are my everything. Wow. There are a lot of really wonderful sentiments. Well, I think I'm just going to go with happy birthday. So, and I'm trying to decide whether or not I want to blend in around the edges there. And I think I'm going to. Hope I don't ruin it. But I think I'm going to do just a little bit of blending. Let's see, I've got Silverstone, Industrial Diamond. Silverstone, I think, is what I'm going to use. And I just want to set off that flower a little bit. Distinguish between the background and the... see, I got a little bit too dark there. Got to really make sure you get it off. And I'm not going to do too much of that, just right there where the stamp meets the... I'm going to leave that before I ruin it. Okay, so I'm going to go back to my stamping. And I'm going to pull this off. And I'm just going to take that white card panel that I was using before, and I'm going to stamp the two images. So I do have a die for one of them, but I'm going to have to fussy cut or use some other die for this birthday. I think I have one that I can use. So I'm just going to pick that up with the lid. I do have to remove the stamp I had on there. Got some ink I've got to clean up. So I'm going to use Obsidian again, but this time I'm going to put down some anti-static powder first, because I'm going to use some clear embossing powder to really give a little dimension and additional beauty to that sentiment. So I'm going to stamp them, ink them both up real good. I'm just going very lightly with that tiny little birthday to make sure I don't smash it. And I probably didn't go heavy enough. There, I'm happy with that. Happy, happy. So I'll lift that off and I'm going to get my clear embossing powder out. And I'm just going to spread that over the top. Let it sit just a minute. And I'll tap it with my brush. And then I'm going to heat up my heat tool for 40 seconds and then heat this until it's melted and smooth. There, see, doesn't that make a beautiful sentiment? Okay. So now we're going to die cut Happy. And I'm going to get my head down over this to make sure I have it centered well. And I'm going to run that through my die cutter. I have a tiny little die here that I'm going to use. It's just in my stash. I have no idea where it came from. I'm going to run that through my die cutting machine. You can see I use and reuse my tape over and over and over again. There's no sense in using new every time, I say. Okay, there's our cute little sentiments. I'm going to set this aside for now. Get my card base. And I'm going to pop these up. That looks pretty good right there. And I'm going to use my very favorite dimensional foam tape. And I'm just going to cut little strips off of that. Now I'm going to use my tweezers to get my placement right on the Happy. And I'm going kind of 2/3 down from the top. Try to get it straight. So I'll use the grid marks on, sorry, I should have. There we go. And I'll just place that there. And then this little guy. Stick in here. And that is it for our beautiful card made with the brand new Altenew fresh dye inks. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, click on the subscribe button. And if you'd like to get notified anytime I post a new video, click on the bell as well and you will. There we are. Thanks for joining me, and bye for now.